Welcome to The Spotlight, the podcast where veterans and military spouses connect and share how their military experience has transformed their lives and their businesses. Here's your host, Bob Louthen.
Hey, this is your host, Bob Louthen, founder of the VeteranCrowd Network, the network that brings veterans and veteran-led businesses together with each other and the resources they need to prosper. And you are tuning into The Spotlight. Hey, everybody, this is Bob Louthen and the VeteranCrowd Spotlight. Pleased to have a friend on today as my guest. Steve Maconi is the CEO of the VMI Alumni Agencies in Lexington, Virginia. He is an MIT grad, a former Naval Aviator, very experienced guy, good friend. Steve, thank you for stepping into the spotlight. Welcome to the program.
Bob, pleasure to be here and good to see you again, so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, we don't get to see each other as much as we used to.
Gosh,
Hey,
no.
so we've got we're going to jump right in on sports, I think. Steve, you got your Kedak Club jacket on. This is a big weekend. By the time this episode airs, the die will have been cast, but the VMI football team is on its way today. Actually, I guess yesterday, north to Harrisonburg to play the JMU Dukes. What's coming up for us this weekend?
Well, as you know, I think it's the first time since 1977, Southern Conference champions, and the opportunity, a wonderful opportunity for these kids, these coaches, this administration, and Bob, our loyal donors who have supported this program for years, to see VMI play in an FCS playoff game. And it doesn't get any better than playing the Dukes. They're sort of the cream of the crop. They're the benchmark that you measure yourself against. And our kids are excited to go up there and compete.
I tell you what, the accolades for this football team just keep rolling in. Let's talk a little bit about that. It seems like it's been reward and award week here. Let's talk a little bit about what's been going on in that regard.
Well, as you may or may not know, Coach Rotc was recognized as Coach of the Year in the Southern Conference for the second year in a row. Really well deserved. Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, in the coaches poll, the Freshman of the Year, and a number of our cadet athletes that earned conference honors, first and second team. So just wonderful recognition for a team that, every college team has had to persevere through the COVID environment and spring football and all of it. Our kids have done it really well.
They really they're have. America's team. I think they're America's team this year.
We're wonderfully proud of them. Yeah.
How is Rhys Udinsky doing? Just so talented, and to have that injury, in the Sanford game, how's he doing?
He's fine. By all accounts, the surgery went exceptionally well. The shame, there were some in the coaches poll that recognized him as accolades, even though he only played part of the season. It's a tribute to Rhys as a football player. He's also an extraordinary young man, comes from a wonderful family. So, gosh, we wish him the best. And
he's up for the Dudley. He's up for the Dudley Award tomorrow night.
He is.
So, like I said, the die will be cast up against quarterback, I guess, from Tech and from Liberty, and running back from Virginia Tech. So just an outstanding young man, and just a shame to see him get hurt right in the middle of what has turned out to be kind of an incredible turnaround season.
But he will look back at his last couple of throws as a cadet, and he will
his
remember
last two were epic. Yes, they absolutely were. Yeah. You want to talk about going out on a high note?
You aren't kidding, right?
Touchdown pass on fourth down in overtime, and then go for two in the win and throw the dagger. So, gosh, almost a little bit of a Disney movie play in that one right there. But hey, we got kid, what a great name, Stone Snyder.
No, it's perfect name for a defensive player,
Yeah,
right?
hey, guess which position he plays? Linebacker. Oh, great. Yeah, and just fantastic. Just a great team. Seth Morgan has stepped in and done an outstanding job. And then you got Jake Harris, who, gosh, the silver lining in all of this is I think we have 6 seniors that are graduating. Yeah, we've got this talent coming back for a rerun in September.
And look, that the 6 seniors were losing significant contributors to the team, but also their leadership will be missed. But Coach Walk over the last couple of years has done a wonderful job of sort of stockpiling talent in a way that we haven't had at VMI in a long time. So we're thrilled with this year, but you got to be excited about the future as well. So
I'm very excited. I want to get Scott on the program or get him on a live feed or something. I need 5 minutes of his time. I to this day, I met Scott Walkenheim in the Lexington Walmart. I ran into him when he first came to Lexington. He had obviously been working in the yard. His wife had sent him to Walmart to pick up some fertilizer and stuff. He was embarrassed that he was in the condition he was in, but just very gracious to spend time talking with me. And what a great find in a coach. I mean, he's the kind of man you would want your child to play for.
you're exactly right. And he's not alone in that. Dan Earl, Jonathan Hadra, we're really fortunate at VMI. We have coaches that are the perfect fit for VMI. Recruit the right kind of young men and women, the right kind of role models, the right kind of mentors, and quite frankly, all those guys, and they're all as concerned about our kids as scholars and cadets as they are about them being athletes. Yeah. And I think that's why they're successful.
So you're not a VMI grad. You went to MIT. Let's touch on that a little bit. Tell us a little bit about growing up and going to MIT and how you got in the Navy and then being a naval aviator.
Grew up in New England, a relatively small town in southern New Hampshire. My brother was 18 months older than me, and he went to MIT the year before me on an Army ROTC scholarship. I had thought about the Naval Academy, the Coast Guard Academy, had applied to MIT because my brother was there as well. The back injury precluded either the Naval Academy or the Coast Guard Academy, but I did get accepted at MIT and ultimately got a Navy ROTC scholarship. Back in those days, which was a long, long time ago, the scholarship couldn't fly anything with an ejection seat and couldn't go marine ground because of my back. Those were two restrictions. Today, I'm not even sure they would take you because they have so many talented young people in the ROTC pipeline, but got a Navy ROTC scholarship. The unit at the time at MIT was really small, maybe a dozen folks total. By the time I left, I think there were probably 40 or 50 in the ROTC unit, and now it's a combined unit with, I think, BU and Northeastern. So it was
quality, not quantity, right?
The structure is different today. They produced mostly engineering duty officers at the time. Myself and a classmate, Bob Crossan, were the first MIT ROTC graduates to actually go to flight school. So that was my dream. Obviously, because of my back injury, I wasn't going to be Tom Cruise and give the Russians the finger flying upside down or anything like that. So
you gave the Russians a hard time in a different way, though, flying the P-3, I imagine.
No, and it turned out, first of all, what a privilege to fly for the Navy for all those years. And you really come to appreciate sort of the crew concept. You don't get anything done individually. You got a 12-man crew, and you better work as a crew if you're going to be successful. And, I flew in the height of the Cold War. We flew a lot of missions, on top Soviet submarines. So it was incredibly rewarding. And, at a certain point, Bob, your takeoffs and landings, they add up and they equal. And somebody says you should quit while you're ahead. And so, yeah, eventually you stop flying. But what a privilege. Yeah.
What'd you do when you transitioned out of the Navy, and then how'd you wind up at the Naval Academy?
So after my last sort of flying tour, which was the maintenance officer of VP 30, which is the replacement air group, the training squadron for young aviators who have earned their wings, and now they need to learn to fly the P3. So
the RAG,
as it was affectionately called now,
right.
The Fleet Replacement Squadron.
Right.
Somewhere between 30 and 35 airplanes, an enormous job. After that tour ended, there was one opportunity to sort of one more flying tour with VP 30's VIP squadron, the airplanes that flew around the CNO, or this incredible opportunity to go to the Naval Academy and be the executive officer in the physical education department at the Naval Academy. I mean, how ironic for somebody who didn't get in because they broke their back in high school to now have the opportunity to go work at the Naval Academy in the physical education department. So that was my last tour on active duty. At the time, the Naval Academy, so this was 1998, the Naval Academy had just started private fundraising in earnest. For
So
the
they
long
didn't have
time,
a foundation per se,
No,
or an
they did not.
endowment until the late 90s.
The late 90s. They had an
Wow.
alumni association, and classes would do small reunion projects, maybe raise $50,000, and they did a little bit of fundraising to, sort of cover the cost of the alumni association, but quite honestly,
Was this
nothing
systemic? Was this sort of at the academies? They didn't feel like they needed an endowment because they were government funded, top to bottom?
Correct. And it was actually a Naval Academy grad, or a Naval Academy grad who walked into the superintendent's office and said, "Have you noticed what they're doing up the Hudson at West Point? They are raising private money, and they're raising a lot of it. Now here is a gift to begin to embark on that same effort at the Naval Academy." And so I was one of I think I was actually the seventh or eighth hire at what became the Naval Academy Foundation. And we had enormous success early with alumni who had been philanthropic. They just hadn't given it to the Naval Academy because there was no sense that there was a private funding need there.
So here's the obvious question. Why does the Naval Academy need private funding?
Well, look, as long as you and all of your viewers continue to pay their taxes, the Naval Academy, the Federal Service Academies are going to be largely, maybe 90% funded by with federal dollars. But like all universities, private gift support can be critically important as it relates to athletics. The federal government and most state universities are not going to fund athletic programs to truly competitive levels. And then secondly, the opportunity to add value at the margins. So the federal government thinks that a percentage of kids, of midshipmen, should get a study abroad opportunity. Gosh, through private gift support, I think 3 and 4 at the academy now get some kind of cultural immersion. It might not be an entire semester abroad, but through private gift support, able to provide much more opportunities for that kind of thing. Endowed academic chairs to be able to bring in distinguished scholars from outside the Naval Academy to come teach. So it's really those value-added things at the margin, which are really instrumental in all of the federal service academies and the success they enjoy today.
Steve, it's not lost on me that you've just had an anniversary at VMI.
4 years,
Yeah, it's been 4 years already. Time flies.
And now a word about a VeteranCrowd Spotlight sponsor. Matbach develops lighter, faster warriors using their innovative designs and patented ghost material. After multiple deployments to austere locations while serving as Navy SEAL officers, Zach and Sean, the founders, have developed over 125 unique products for the military, law enforcement, and first responders. Lastly, they have created an entire Da Vinci line of shirts, cups, and bottles, which if you use the code VeteranCrowd, you can enjoy 10% off. That's matbach.com. Use code VeteranCrowd for 10% off anything on their site. Now back to your host, Bob Louthan.
I'm curious now that you're the grizzled veteran now. You've kind of learned your way through the institute. Let's talk about what it's been like to be an outsider coming in to this organization and kind of learning it from the ground up.
It was not long after I got to VMI, and I don't think you can really understand VMI by looking at their website or reading material. I had an old CEO who said this about the Naval Academy, and I'll steal his phrase. VMI is a little bit like velvet. You can see pictures of it. You can read about it. You don't get it till you come touch it. If you're a VMI guy, you get it. But if you're not a VMI guy or gal, you don't understand this place until you get to come experience it. I have said before, it remains the best kept secret in higher education in America. And alumni have said, no, come on, man, everybody recognizes the spider. Yeah, everybody recognizes the VMI spider, but they don't appreciate sort of the magic that happens here until you come live it and experience it. I remember in the interview process, somebody asked me about, how strong the class commitment is at the Naval Academy. And I said, oh my gosh, we do so well at reunions. Our classes are really close. And at the Naval Academy, they are really close. But it's not like classes at VMI. The brother rat and the magic that happens at VMI is really remarkable. And I just sat with General Wins yesterday, and we were talking about admissions and the best and brightest kids in America. And I told him, I said, General Wins, we have every opportunity to compete for every one of those kids. Now it's competition, and the competition is tough because America's best and brightest kids have lots of choices now. But there is no reason that VMI can't compete with America's best schools for America's best young men and women.
You bring up something. I mean, VMI's got a lot of accolades. I mean, what is the thing that stands out in your mind academically about VMI now that you've been there for 4 years?
I think the small classes and the involvement of the faculty, the investment that the faculty have in the cadets is really sort of best in class. our cadets invest in VMI, their time, their talent. I really think the faculty does as well. And thanks to private gift support, Bob, the academic department now is resourced in a way um, to take the excellence of the faculty, the excellence of the cadets, and now bring the resources to bear to make all of that excellence come to fruition in what goes on in the classroom, in the research opportunities they have. Private funding really makes a difference in that respect. So, boy, our academics are world class.
We talked about accolades for Scott Wackenham and the football team, but there've been accolades for VMI academically, consistently ranking, at or very near the top in a number of categories, placing cadets in good paying jobs upon graduation, just, and then the physical facilities, the transformation that's taken place over the last 10 to 15 years is significant. We've got the new aquatic center under construction now. Broke ground on that. Can you give a little bit of a insight on that little piece of this infrastructure renewal?
And we should be wonderfully thankful to the state of Virginia for their investment in VMI's infrastructure. The number is certainly over $500 million over the last 10 or 15 years in infrastructure investment in VMI, and it continues as we speak with the continuing renovation of Scott Ship Hall, and now the construction of a new aquatic center right next to the core physical training facility. It'll be a 50-meter world-class waveless pool, swimming, diving, water polo, ROTC training, those who aspire to be SEALs and underwater training, all of it now possible. And quite frankly, a wonderful addition to the Lexington community and the Rockbridge County, because much like the core physical training facility where we host a number of track events in the Southern Conference Championships annually, the same thing will happen with the Aquatic Center, which will just bring more visitors to Lexington and Rockbridge County, which is good for the county. It'll be good for our swimming team. It'll be good for our water polo team to now have a world-class facility to compete in. So,
the core physical training facility took my breath away. I can't wait to see the aquatic center. I'm sure it's going to be just as magnificent. I mean, in and of itself, it's a civil engineering study in and of itself, because it's basically a small river that flows underneath both of those facilities.
Correct.
And our football field. So, the engineering alone, for that is fascinating to me. Hey, let's
we should point out too that it is also a wonderful example of a public-private partnership. We were able to leverage, look, as you can imagine, dollars for construction are pretty competitive in Virginia higher education today. Every university wants a new something, and we weren't sure if a $40+ million aquatic center was in the cards. We were able to take a $10 million gift from a philanthropist, leverage that with the state to fill the bucket and arguably get us an aquatic center well ahead of where we might have been if it was just in the queue as a state-funded project all by itself. So again, a wonderful example of what you can do in a public-private partnership.
Steve, real quickly, and then we're going to shift gears. I heard a rumor that maybe the endowment at VMI is hitting some new highs with the stock market. Is that the case? Are we pushing some good numbers right now?
Well, during your tenure as the chairman of the Alumni Agencies Board, I think we touched 500 million once and then maybe dipped below it. Today, the endowment is at 633 million.
Oh my goodness.
And, our aspiration is $1 billion by 2039. It is certainly my hope that we can get there sooner than that, because as you well know, endowment means so much to VMI. To have those resources to support the Institute in perpetuity is critical to our success.
Can you share, just in round numbers, sort of the operating budget at VMI and the contribution from that endowment, and what it means to the overall day-to-day operations of the Institute?
Yeah, I mean, and look, we'll make the math really simple. Think 100 million for the operating budget for VMI. It's arguably a little bit more than that. Round numbers, private gift support provides about a quarter of that annually, all in about 25 million. And then the state of Virginia, right about I think $19 million this year. So think 25 million from philanthropy, 19 million from the state, and then tuition and fees comprising the majority of the remainder.
Are there other state schools in Virginia where the private sources, the endowments, carry the 25% of the burden?
No. I think VMI is the highest in the state, not necessarily in terms of dollars to the institution, right, but as a percentage of the operating budget. 25% is transformational. VMI would be a shell of itself without philanthropy. To put it in perspective, at the Federal Service Academies, it's probably 9 or 10%, something like that, as compared to a quarter of the operating budget.
I can't tell you how many people have sort of said, I couldn't have gone to VMI if it had not been for the generosity of the folks that have been given so much to VMI. Hey, this concludes part one of our discussion with Steve Maconi, the CEO of the VMI Alumni Agencies. I hope you'll join us again on Friday morning for part two of our discussion with Steve, as we enter into some of the other current events facing the Virginia Military Institute at this time. Thanks so much for listening to The Spotlight. We'll see you again on Friday morning.
Thank you for listening to Spotlight by VeteranCrowd. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and uploads, please visit our website at VeteranCrowdNetwork.com. We'll see you next time.